Prairie,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
Okay, under presentations and announcement, Ms. Christine, if you would come forward.
President Cuddy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I'm Christine Swanson of ACCG Family Services, and we currently do the 401A plan as well as 457 tax plan for Langley County. What we'd like to do is offer your employees the opportunity to participate in what's called a Roth 457 plan. This allows them to invest on a post-tax basis. Very similar to a Roth IRA, the contributions are post-tax, but when they go to retire, all earnings and contributions are actually tax-free. So it's a great opportunity for them to have a blend of pre and post-tax. The county, not because they're already doing a phenomenal match on the plan, but it does give the employee an opportunity to do an alternative that they say on a post-tax basis. So there's an amendment before you, but I will also answer the questions that you may have.
Does it require all of them?
No, it's an option. So what we do is we offer both pre and post-tax. We can do a blend of both, or we can do one or the other. And
They all have to participate.
no, no. This is on 457 side. So when I go to new hire orientation with folks, I explain to them the benefits of both pre and post-tax, explain the matching of county does for a longevity as well as a religion base, and then we use it and decide how we would like to affect the everybody put it on the benefits of both.
Is there a conflict between what we currently have and this one as far as the number of people participating? Does that have anything to do with it?
You know, it's just the additional offerings that
And this would be new hires and existing hires? Can you know what it is?
Well, we adopted under 11A.
Yeah, we'll do some of the presentation and announcement. Thank you very much.
appreciate your time.
All right, next we have citizens' concerns. There are none. Public meetings, none. Consent agenda, none. Old business, none. Under new business, item A, consider and approve resolution to amend the ACCG 457B deferred compensation plan to add the raw 457B plan. Okay. Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Prairie.
Yes. Next item under new business, item B, consider and approve language of term limits for ballot question. That's the question on limiting the terms that a county commissioner can currently serve. This will be, I'm just going to read it.
Should the number of 4-year terms a person is allowed to serve as a Wayne County Board of Commissioners be limited to 3 regardless of district? Yes, or no?
And that's where it'll show up on the ballot. The only thing that I had about that was we need to change it. I don't know how many people in here know how long a term is. If we change that to 12 terms, 12 years, so that everybody, when they go to read the ballot, they're clear on how many years that consists of with the board, with the terms listed there. That's the only thing that I see on it. It just says,
Just additionally add parentheses, total of 12 years?
yes. Yes, out beside that. And a lot of people, the one thing that's not clear in what will be on the ballot the current commissioners, District 1, 3, and 5 are serving a 2-year term. So that 2-year term will not be included in the other consecutive dates. What is it? It's, in the other 3.
So basically, this will take an effect after we serve our first 2-year term. We will take this going forward, if we want to give us a full total 12 years.
That's, no,
You were 14.
you would be 14.
But the 2-year term, what you're saying, whatever you're serving right now will not be affected. It will only start after your term ends. Junior, you get a 2-year portion. You use township portion.
That's right.
So after the 4 years, you're going to start using, already
Oh,
after the
yeah.
2 years.
You can't start it before this.
Right. That's
Yeah,
right.
before this thing, before the public.
Does everybody have that, or do we need to put that on the ballot? We try to put things on the ballot to make it as simple as possible so everybody understands it. And I think this is the simplest way if we add in so everybody knows that that's 12 years after serving the term we're currently in.
Are you taking any questions from the floor, sir? Pertaining to that?
No, sir, not right now. Do you just have a comment?
Well, my comment is, what happens in a district where you don't have everybody on the line? What you gonna do?
I don't think we've ever had one that we don't have.
We did what you're doing now.
What you mean?
We haven't did term limits, what you're trying to do now, and she said we never had that. So I'm asking you, what do you do, if this is true, and you have somebody at the end of their term, you don't have nobody on the line? What is that district gonna do? That individual that can't run again, can run again,
No.
so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that would just be to where, and most of the time when you have it, somebody will step up and somebody will come
That's
in.
not a guarantee, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's not a
Before you
guarantee.
did something like this, you at least take it to an individual district and let them have a town hall meeting, and they talk about it, and whatever.
Well, they'll have a chance to vote on it during the, that's why we're putting it on the ballot, so we don't make the decision.
You put my card.
But that way, if they want to come in, either way, we still gotta get a vote on it, and then we'll have questions about it.
I just want to make a comment. I think what we're doing is trying to say is, we've got bylaws and things. Nobody wants to run that district. We need to see if they can get a sign up, piece of paper or something, hey, we don't have anybody else, nobody else is qualified. All we can put somebody in there is really not going to be able to do it. So I'm just saying, we as a board, I think we need to think about that. If we run into this issue, and it's doing this morning.
Well, and it's
How
the,
many times has there been an empty seat over here for nobody?
I think it's kind of useful, it's only useful for that.
well, and either way, we need to have a vote on this, and then we'll have a discussion. Once we have we need a motion and a second, and if the motion would be with the change to show the 12 years.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
All right, now discussion.
No,
No, you're fine.
that's something I think we need to think about. My biggest fear is that we get somebody, and nobody wants to step up to that, or people are not volunteering for this. And if I were to see everybody that I talked to about running for county commission, I would not do it. Let's just face it, this is a very challenging job.
Well, and it can happen in any position up here, once we decide not to serve again, then what you can ask a bunch of questions, then what are you gonna do if nobody wants to run in my district, or Commissioner Hickox did, or Commissioner Thomas, if they don't wanna run, then you have
I still feel like we're taking a serious work on it. I'm not satisfied with this. I think they should have an opportunity to go south. Thank you, that's just my personal opinion. Another thing is if we're not on state level, we're on small things, a lot of people that really want to be county commission. So face it. And I'm thinking, if you take somebody that is doing great work, for instance, at your board, it's a perfect explain, perfect thing. That project is going on for 20 years. So you can have a county commission start a project, and we come out running, we see the project finished. And the project's 20 years, and then you make a mistake, you put it away, I have no clue. So what I'm saying is, if we have somebody that's young, that's 30 years old, and it's come up. So we're saying 44, you can't, we put all this time and energy and investment. You know exactly what the county's got going on, you know exactly, what's coming up, what's the long-term game, what the long-term legal needs are. And we're saying, hey, by the way, we're doing it. I'm just, we're discussing, and I know the minuses, the pluses, the minuses that people need to recognize when it's time to say, hey, that's enough. When you're not here for the right reason, you might want to look at it and say, look, I'm not making a difference. I don't have a fire that I have to step in.
And that's why we're putting it on the ballot, so that everybody in here, if you don't like it, you don't vote. That's exactly right. And we're putting it back on them, we're just giving the option. I've had a lot of people in my district ask about it, and that's why I brought it up, because I'm here for the people. I know we have some people that are against it, but I've had a lot of people that have asked me, why don't we do this? So that's why I brought it up, that's why we took a vote on it, and that's why we decided to put it on the ballot so that the voters can decide on it. If they vote to do it, then that's fine. If they vote not to do it, that's fine with me also. And then that way I can go back to my constituents and I can say, listen, we tried this. Apparently you were right, there was a lot of people doing that.
The total of 12 years on there, maybe it's a 15 person. I think that gets confusing, because some of y'all are on 2-year terms now. I think
No less than 12?
well, no, I think each one includes several there, get the number of 4-year terms, and the person without serving the anti-war commission will be limited to 3 quotations on her parentheses, for a total of 12 years. And then I would have
After term served.
Right.
Okay.
just to kind of clarify that we're not including
Right.
2 terms.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to reword that and bring it back, or do we have to go ahead and vote on this correction?
We can vote on it with those corrections,
Okay?
and we already have a motion in a second.
Okay. Now, will we change the number?
Yes.
Okay.
We would be put on the ballot, we've got to see if it passes.
We're not calling it, we're in the amendment.
That's right.
It's only to pass the law.
That's right.
Commissioner Thomas?
No.
Commissioner Peacock?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Being it's gonna be left up to the vote to make a decision, I'm gonna say yes.
And that is with those corrections. Okay. Next item under new business, proclamation for Crime Victims Week.
Well, the district attorney's office sent us over, they are, the crime victims week is April 23rd through the 29th. They were just asking for a proclamation from y'all.
Yes, please.
Proclamation of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners, whereas the term victims is more than just a label and has legal standing and protections that go along with it. Whereas Crime Victims' Right Acts passed here in Georgia and at the federal level guarantee victims the right to meaningfully participate and use their voice in the criminal justice process. Whereas victim service providers, advocates, law enforcement officers, attorneys, and other allied professionals can help survivors find justice by enforcing these rights. Whereas the right to provide an impact statement ensures that victims' voices are considered important due to the sentencing and applicable restitution processes. Whereas including and elevating the voices of survivors makes certain they are heard and seen and creates a path to forging and sustaining community trust. Whereas engaging survivors creates response and services that are credible, meaningful, and centered on individual needs. Whereas survivors' lived experience can serve as catalysts for implementing innovative programs, shifting existing programs in new directions, and changing policies or practices that prevent survivors from accessing services or pursuing justice. Whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week provides an opportunity to recommit to listening to crime survivors in every space where decisions are made that can impact them. And whereas the Wayne County Commissioners are hereby dedicated to amplifying the voice of survivors and creating an environment where survivors have the confidence that they will be heard, believed, and supported. And therefore, I, Kevin McCrary, as Chair of the Wayne County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the week of April the 23rd through the 29th, 2023 as Crime Victims' Rights Week, reaffirming this county's commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime during Crime Victims' Rights Weeks and throughout the year, and expressing our sincere gratitude and appreciation for those community members, victim service providers, and criminal justice professionals who are committed to improving our response to all victims of crime so that they may find relevant assistance, support, justice, and peace. Proclaim this third day of April 2023.
I think this is very important because a lot of times when you get this, people who have, whether either side of the victims, it's always better to have people that will bond with you, whether they've had that same experience or they can learn from your mistakes or learn from how you got through a certain situation. We have a lot of this going on, seems like more and more each week that continues to go through this, and I think this proclamation would be very good for those victims and people to be able to discuss their issues together.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to instruct proclamation, this item is active.
All right. Any more discussion?
Commissioner Hickox?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Perry?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
And I do want to discuss one thing with the gentleman in the back. I know y'all raised your hand, and I'm sorry, we have where you have to get on the agenda to speak, and I'm sorry I did let you speak, but I'm sorry that I didn't let you go further into it. But what we have to do is stay with our agenda. If you get put on the agenda, if you don't want to get put on the agenda, please talk to your commissioner in your district, tell them your concerns, and that way they can voice them up here. I'm not trying to be unfair to y'all, but that's how we do it. All right, item D, consider and approve agreement with the Odom Recreation Department. Commissioner Gordon, do you want to lay into this, or do you want me to do it, or how do you want to do it?
We have been approached, more than once, from the citizens of Odom that, their kids needed a place to practice. We talked to Spec and we understand that Spec's, playing the school, to say the least. But this is important to a lot of people. The way I look at it is we have some 800 kids playing ball, I believe, that right, Spec and Joseph.
Yeah, about 850. Yes.
850, and we have 50 playing in Odom. What that does is creates a problem scheduling fields fields to where they're game ready, but we can fix them to where they can practice. And we've asked for, well, just that, and we have a estimate here, I guess you did this estimate, Beck, is that right?
Yes.
My question on this, is all of this necessary for a practice field?
Well, probably not all of it, but most of it is, though.
Come on, you're not getting out of this.
For instance, the core gate, is that is.
That's sanding the outfield. Yeah, that's gonna sand the outfield, the level you fill up, that's what me and Kevin was talking about. You're sanding the outfield, what they're gonna do here now for us. And then we're gonna try to get Hall Richardson taken care of over there. That was just the estimated price on getting that field sanded out there. I think the field's in some bad shape out there. They need a lot of attention. We could probably get by with maybe some, take some bases out or do this, but you won't need clay and some sand there to make it safer and get practice on.
Right.
Yes.
I didn't know what corrugated was.
But what they do is they got a machine, they come back and they'll roll over and it'll take clumps out your grass. And then it makes your grass come grow through that sand. It's nothing more than, just to kind of let them get out.
I looked it up on the internet, the plastic stuff that went around the top of the fence.
No, that's fence gap. No, this is a machine that's got a big old roller on the back and it corrugates your field up before you plugs up and you sand on top of that and it helps your grass grow through, makes it breathe, your grass gets a little bit better. That don't have to be done either, man.
That's not the first one that you're talking about.
Well, this is the same guy doing it, no, he's just sanding these fields, he's not gonna turf plane out this field here, nothing like that.
Out of 900 kids, how many teams would you say?
We got about 62 teams.
62. How many fields do we have?
11.
So they're a problem. Trying to squeeze 62 teams into 11 fields. And that was the biggest concern that the people of Odin had, is to have a place where the kids could practice.
How many kids are on the team?
On Odom, they got like 9. We got between 13 and 14 to go.
So that's several teams that would be practicing on.
I think they got about 14, I know, 14.
And this is to get the field for practice, because you're not gonna be playing any games out there.
Not right now.
This is to get it.
This is to get it, like I said, that one field is in bad shape. That's one to dig the existing dirt out, and they have to play field. And the other one is pretty fixable. We fixed them in the past. We just probably have to tear them up, smooth them out, a little bit work on them. But the one on the left side is in bad shape. It really needs attention. This is mainly what this money is for, that one field.
And this is estimate, so
Yes,
this
yes.
is.
So, one more question, because I've talked to some older parents, and they said to me that there's volunteer labor to do some of this work, that they used to keep it up, they can't keep it up, but if there's something they can do to help with this cost, so those kids can practice in Odom, they're willing to roll up their sleeves and put Snell grease in there so that they can practice.
And the reason all this came up was because they, prior to 2018, they were given $10,000 a year to maintain these fields. The city kept up some of it, correct? They did some of
I
the.
think they cut the grass.
That's right.
We went out there and helped the bases and the field maintenance like that. Like I said, we've done this 3 or 4 years in a row. They just don't have somebody to keep them up. That's why they get in bad shape. We keep going there and spending our money out on the field, getting them prepared for practice. which they only use 3 months out of the year. And then they just let them go the rest of the year. When baseball season comes around, hey, they need somebody to work on these fields again. We go ahead and work on them, and it's the same thing every year.
Right, and that's why we're, under this understanding, all of this will have one person in charge, and they will be getting in contact with you. And if you have any issues with the field as far as maintenance not being kept up or whatever, you can contact that one person, and they can go to everybody and tell them, whether they're volunteers or whatever, to come out there, and he will kind of be the one over that process to make sure that we don't get this situation again. Same thing with Mr. Thomas's field over there. I think they've all been neglected a lot here lately, and I think it's time to get it back up to where it needs to be. And I appreciate you getting these numbers together for us, but I would like to know if these are, if
They're pretty close, 'cause like I said, the claims right on, the sand could go 20, the certain would ought to be cheaper, but all the bases and all that, that's spot on.
this is for 2 fields.
But I think she just did it for 1 field. But see, both fields don't need that. That's 1 field does.
Okay.
So, you know, depends on like that 1 field on the left, the bigger field, that's one needs all the attention. You know, so,
So you're saying it's gonna take 10 weeks to sand the field?
both fields, yeah.
So it is a,
Yes. You got it, yeah. Like I said, the clay, I think everybody put 5 loads of clay in there, that's just for that 1 field. That other field probably won't need clay. But yeah,
how deep are you looking to look that field?
well, we did ours, we come down ours a couple years ago in Louisville, and they might, we're gonna go about 4 or 5 inches, dig that crap out there, and then we put some new clay in there with, you know, but yeah, not far, 4 or 5 inches, but the more you dig, the more you get put in. So,
The situation, and you may be aware of that, because if you are, I think that's what we said anyway, several years ago, the reclamation money was taken away from basically every one of them. $10,000 per year, I believe, was the figure. Those communities didn't have money to maintain fields and take the recreation away. The money still has been returned. I understand that it's going to be an expense and to get in shape, getting fields back in shape. But I think Scriven is interested at all, but Odom says that they will help in maintaining grounds and whatnot.
like I said, if we dump this money into these fields, we need to get this right.
Yeah.
We need to get some kind of agreement with them, what they gonna do and what we gonna do. Because us, if we're wasting our money on some fields going to belong to us, then we might end up maintaining them. That's why we're gonna get in trouble there again. But they agree to what they wanna do.
They have a request that go down the line.
And in the past, it's been done on a handshake, it never followed through or whatever, that's why we're gonna get it on paper.
That's right.
Each, whether it's the county or the city of Odom, Scriven chose not to participate. So either entity is gonna be held to the piece of paper that we have and we sign, and we have an official contract that they're gonna keep up with the grass cutting and stuff like that. And I think it'll be better because a lot of times things get passed down and words are not exchanged like they should be, so the next person doesn't know what we're responsible for, so.
Just so we understand, okay, so they're gonna cut the grass, who's gonna bring the field? Who's gonna do it, get bubbles out there, or we're gonna call Spectrum to come out there and take a chain and go around the fields?
We have, Commissioner Gordon and I,
Needs to be in that kind of specific, I agree, we were in the court, my kids played, decoration. And I'm all for it, having the kids supposed to do, understand about the fields of elimination, the other kids are having to wait because they can't, have to schedule the practice time. But I agree, the wording needs to be very strong.
yeah, it will be. And Commissioner Gordon and I went out and met
For
with.
both sides' sake.
Commissioner Gordon and I went out and met with him several times. Staff was there at one of the meetings, and we went over with them exactly so that we have one person that contacts him and not a bunch of parents or whoever to make sure that we can keep up with this. And hopefully, the next time we have to do this, it'll just be regular PM work rather than having to revamp the whole field. And I think this will get us back up to where we need to be, and that person that's gonna be, in charge of it will be in direct contact with Spec, and if somebody has a question or comment or complaint or whatever, they will go, there'll just be two people involved instead of all the parents and the coaches and all of that trying to deal with Spec. He's limited on his help, so I think this will be a step in the right direction. Paperwork written down so everybody knows what their job is and what has to be done. And that way, if Spec goes out and sees something not done, he knows who to contact and who to look at the piece of paper and say, you're supposed to be doing this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, you know, it is what it is. We try to do what we got to do. We're not trying to get out no work no way around. We hear to help everybody. You know, so that's what we're trying to do. I know Brad will hear that. We'll need to make a little bit. But, you know, we're here to help anybody we can. The problem is, those, you want these volunteers out here, but that's your problem. They don't know what to do. They make it more of a mess for everybody else, then somebody knows how to do it. They get out there with a truck and a piece of fence and drag and carry the bases up there, the home plate up. That's what the problem is. One person, you can have one key to it. All these dads and all these people don't even have keys, but they need one key. So somebody can get in there and get their equipment out and do it. All these volunteers, that's what the problem is.
Well, don't you think this contract will alleviate those
I
problems?
like to see the contract, and make sure it's worded right and all that, because I just don't want them going back and telling the fact now, like.
That's right. Well, you are a director, and I will make sure you are a part of it, so if we will, we can make the motion with, upon approval from you, but if there's any major changes, the thing we're looking at is getting the ball field in order right now. Yes. And it's ball season. I mean, I've been out there dozens of times. I haven't been out there yet that I didn't see kids on those ball fields. It's like they are, and they're in bad shape. So I think we need to go ahead and at least get that money approved so that we can go ahead and get the ball fields back in shape so that they can continue practicing. And then we'll make sure on this one is the agreement with the Odom Recreation Department. If we need to look at that, yes, ma'am.
I was gonna tell him, I'll give him a copy tomorrow.
And just make sure, but it's basically what we just talked about. You'll have one person that comes to you and talks to you, and the Odom has agreed on maintaining the grass cutting, and everybody has their specific thing they have to do. And I think it's gonna be better for you because it's gonna take some of the stress off of you, especially having 4 more teams that have to come out there and use those fields.
All right, Chairman, are we gonna amend the budget at the next meeting? Because this is not a budget item, so we have to amend the budget. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're just gonna fix the field so that we play them over that.
Yes, sir.
They're gonna maintain it. We're not gonna change like that, we're not talking about giving $10,000, right?
To maintain it? No, sir. No, sir. This is to get the fields back up to where they need to be.
Everybody's the same.
That's correct.
That's still maintaining that field. Everybody's the same.
That's right. And it'll be the same thing with all this, and they'll have to maintain those fields. But this is,
The difference is the county, you don't know which, you don't own that.
right. Well, and there's a lot of neglect goes into these fields. They're not kept up like the fields out there because they have so many and they play tournaments and they're actually playing fields. And we want to make sure that we keep these at least to a minimum of where they can practice on them.
The one experience, sir, you have certain groups want to use the field, and they want to use it for that purpose. Harveston is a little league baseball. That's all right, that baseball thing. some people want to use it for softball. And it's not a softball field. You got a softball field out there that's real much. So, I think they're gonna engage on that deal on that trees. I think the last one that done it out there was Tyrone that had that little benefit thing that year. We went and dragged him in about 3 years ago. He lined it all for them, and they had some kind of softball tournament, benefit tournament. But that's about it. You drag one time before, and that's good. Oh, we go over there, we make, every time we go over there, we make rain. So that's benefit, and we go to, we have a very, they didn't play, they have no construction. That's right, we think we've done that before, too, yes.
Well, and that's, to me, I think that's what we're doing, is our due diligence to make sure these kids have something else to do besides watch TV and play video games, so that they have something outside that they can do. And these, you know, if they show interest, I think it's up to us to make sure that we do get them to where, whether they're gonna play games on them or they're just gonna practice on them, at least they can take their kids out there and do that, if they choose to do so.
Sure, my understanding is $16,000 really gonna save these kids. That's both, one field I think is best kids to go to the rest. Okay, so Commissioner Thomas said, well, a good point. Are we going to continue to try to fund the 10,000 to Shrill and 10,000 to Odom as we've done in the past? Or is this is one-time payout? This is one-time fix your bill and use hospital.
Well, they've been getting the 10,000 from the county for years
But we they just
to main.
took it out.
That's right, because we were $8 million in the hole and we didn't, and we went up to 5 mils on the taxes and cash pool or whatever, and that was part of what they cut out. And that's why we're going back, we're gonna revamp these deals, and then hopefully, the way we have this contract set up, it will not cost $10,000 to maintain these fields, and that's why we're getting spec involved, which I don't think was done before, because he said that throughout the year, these fields were not looked after, and I think once we put this money in it, and we put this contract in it, where you have one person that contacts Mr. Eccles, and one spec, and one person that will go out, and he's gonna actually instruct them on the correct way to do it.
The point I'm trying to make is we're gonna fix this field code and we took the money from Odom. These fields are not safe for this kid.
That's right.
The person sitting on this paper around here that is not going to get hurt. Kids go out and play in the damn fields and say, "I'm playing the fields, it's gonna save the partners." I understand that. So what I'm saying is are we, us as a council, are we going to think about starting back the money that we took from Odom Street and give them that money back? Not give them money going forward to maintain these fields and stuff, or that's what I'm trying to understand, is this one-time thing that we're not gonna do 10,000, or what we're gonna do
I think what we'll do is we'll address that in the next year.
Next
It,
year.
with the $10,000, I think, Mr. Speck, I think that's what he was saying, that they were being neglected so much, it took a lot of money. And if we can maintain them, I don't think that $10,000 will be necessary. I think they'll find out that we can do it for a lot cheaper than that, just with the rec department's assistance.
Right. Go back and check the minutes years ago, the city kind of far, and they had a big powwow, and the county took over the recreation department, and the city just took over fire protection. So that's why that $10,000 goes off to the city voters, and the city scripts, and we no longer have local recreation parks. It's a one county recreation park with one county recreation director. That's why the money goes into Wayne County's recreation park. It doesn't go to the city voters, it doesn't go to the city script. They no longer have rec departments. That was a big battle the city county had years ago. They fought about money, and the agreement was the city just would take over fire protection, and the county would take over the recreation park. They took over everything. And then they cracked Williams Park, they filled about the pool, and it became a headache because they put dirt in the pool. So the county said the city can have recreation department back, crack Williams Park back, they give it back to the dollar. But the money that you're talking about The reason it goes to the county is because the county runs our recreation department. So
That's right, and that's
$10,000
why it was put back into those cities. That was the allocate. Okay, Mayor Weaver, is that not correct?
What, exactly what he said is how it happened, but the reason we got the $10,000, because I hadn't actually been director of Scriven at the time, was Scriven Odom had a director, and it was that job, that person's job, just like you're saying, we need one person, it was that person's job. Part of that $10,000 was to pay that rec director, because you're not gonna get nobody that's gonna go do this for free, and that he's gonna have to train, it's gonna be able to be there forever, whatever. And this thing comes in Scriven and Odom in spurts. By you saying Scriven's not interested, I was watching, that's dead wrong. If you're gonna spend $16,000 to fix their field, you don't need to spend that much for mine, because I took care of mine because I'm a rec guy. But yeah, I probably need $10,000 worth of field fixed on a spec. So I need to get on that list too. But that's what I'm getting at. So that's why it was important for that $10,000 question. When I heard it, I fixed to be on the Jessup Council, but I was like, whoa, I got to go. We need, if we're gonna do for one, I feel like we gotta do for both, me personally, but us being not interested is, we don't play games in Scriven anymore. I have 5 teams that practice on my field, they got 4, I got 5. But I take care of my field, my city worker drags it every day, Monday through Friday, and his guy come over last week, and he'll tell you how horrible it was. And we worked on it for 24 hours, and I brought him back over, and he said, no, I know what you did, it looks good. Buddy called and said, you need me? I said, no, I got it. But
And that's the reason I was talking.
But it covered the light bill, the $10,000, just so you know, the $10,000 covered the director, we got paid $325 a month. That was great during football season, we went down to teams. It was horrible during baseball season, when we had to be there every day. It covered the light bill, to run the lights out there. It covered if anything broke in the recreation world. If I called at the time Steve and said, Steve, I got my team's got to have 2 dozen baseballs. He penciled that right down out of my $10,000 at the end of the year. I mean, he said, Jason, you only got $700 and whatever left. I said, God, go buy me some softballs for next year so I'll be ready. And that's what we did.
So you equipment come out of that too?
Yes, sir. Everything. I only had $10,000 to run baseball, softball, any sport that you offer, football and all. Now, sometimes we have a flag football team, and every now and then, because it goes in growth spurts. I mean, you get a group like right now, like saying Scriven and interested, we're running 216 kids in our school. It's hard to put a team together with 10 kids on there, 10 boy baseball the same age, when you only got 15 in the whole class, boys and girls.
Okay.
But
Well,
Oakland's got a lot of
why-
kids right now, so yes, they got an influx.
Thank you. That's why I was telling Commissioner Upton that we will have to look at it and see what we have to do, from this point forward. We may have to set up a same thing with your.
Absolutely, we ready.
If we need to, get one person in charge, because I think that's what the issue has been with all of these fields, is we don't have one person in charge. And everybody goes out there and does their own thing, and now we will have it where Spec will be able to go out and train that one person, and that will be the only person that's out there, whether they're supervising or whatever, to make sure.
But if Spec isn't the one coming to do it, that one person is gonna have to be an employee, or we're shooting in the wind if you're not giving any money to pay them, because we
We
can't
got
pay them.
volunteers in Odom that are gonna do it.
Right, but we don't, like he just said, I can tell you, you'll be right back up here next year doing exactly what he's doing, telling you right now, because
Well,
we'll have a pickup truck out there dragging the field.
These volunteers, when their kids gets out that program, they done.
Well, then we'll have to assign somebody.
That's right.
What we're trying to do is the right thing right now. We're not looking in the future for whatever, if it changes, then we'll have to change with it. But this is the contract for Odom for now, and that's why I say, we look down the road at their kids, we can't control all of that. But it should always be one person dealing with you, and that way you can train them and they can supervise or monitor or whatever these fields. We're just trying to get a field that is playable so that these kids can go out and practice, and it won't be game ready, but at least it will be to where they can go out and practice and they don't have to
Well,
go.
the main thing, yeah, the main thing, Kevin, is like I said, get these fields ready for practice, but also the safety of these kids. These fields, Delaware,
And he's talking about because they have humps and.
they got all kinds of stuff, and, you know, the safety of the kids is the most important of all of it.
That's right.
You know, because like I said, I know you're gonna have to spend a little bit more money out there to get these things played more safe, but, you know, like I said, hopefully this contract here, gets in the right direction, and these things be safe and playable for the next 3 or 4 years, you know what I mean? So,
And then next year, we'll look at it again, because this is a one-year contract, and we'll look at it next year, and if we need to change it some to make it better, that we can, we'll have to look at that. That's right. Any more questions for Stan? All right, so we can, consider, this is to consider and approve the agreement. Do we have a motion on that motion?
All fair.
Okay. Any more discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
For the safety of the kids, yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Knox.
Yes.
Thank you.
There are 7 empty chairs on the first 2 rows. I know you guys are gonna get tired of seeing stuff back there, but they don't mind moving their man bags.
If you would add that to the agenda.
Sorry.
All right, next item is next item is to consider and approve removing rapid response position from EMS. We do. He can. I know we have several items that have been looked at, that the reason we came to this conclusion. Richard, if you want to come up and speak? Sure. Since this is your department.
Yeah, as you said, it is a position in the EMS in one of my departments, and, you know, I only think it's right, that we have a meeting prior to it coming to a vote, where we can actually discuss with the department head whose position, you know, people are willing. I ask that you guys consider tabling this, so we can all sit down person to person. And if not, you know, I mean, I can go into a lot of detail about why this position is so critical and important to the county. So, I really don't know where to go from here. I mean, you guys we've had a motion to consider tabling it, we can sit down and talk, or I can go through this for a minute.
I'll make a motion, because there's some things we need to talk to you personally, so I can understand why this position was created, and I can look and see what the position calls for, but like with my job as a project manager, you have to write a encyclopedia to do what all I do. My job description is this much. What I actually do on a day-to-day basis, so I think in consideration to talk to you, because it is your department head. This person was, you know, just was created to help you in that department. I think that's just a consideration. So I make the motion to, let's table it till we can meet with Mr. Johnson.
I second the motion, Mr. President.
Any more comments? I mean, I agree with that. I think we need to look through it and make sure we have all the facts, and the reason this was brought up was for justification, just like Mr. Johnson's talking about. We need to make sure that we can justify retaining this position and that it's actually doing what it's supposed to do, and we either continue or discontinue using it if we can't justify the reason for it and that it's actually a benefit for that service.
I think it is absolutely critical that Wayne County citizens be able to call 911 and know someone's coming in a rapid manner. So if we need to table this, and, because we had a, work session, and it's just gone, but this is, everybody has a list of priorities. EMS is here. If my phone rings about anything, I'm going to get a phone call today about, is the ambulance going to come in? It's so critically important. So yes, if you want to work this out, great, let's work it out. But this position is critical.
Absolutely. I'd just like to have a meeting with you guys in a different setting, we can go into, fine detail about what this all encompasses.
I like that conversation.
Maybe we can set up a work session where we can have you in there, you can come in and either, justify whatever we need to do. Any more comments? Madam Clerk, this is the table, yes, until.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox.
Yes.
Commissioner Ward.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, consider and approve credit card policy. Madam Clerk, do you want to go through that?
The credit card policy was created because now we have some employees that can go to Tractor Supply and purchase items. And before they would just give their name. Tractor Supply is changing the way they do business, and they are issuing cards, credit cards, to employees that are approved to do purchasing. So we created that credit card policy, that way we can have every employee receive the policy, just get a card and sign off stating that they read the policy, they got a copy of the policy before we even issue their card.
So this is a credit card that's only used at Tractor Supply?
Yes.
So what kind of detailed statement is coming back, and where is that statement going, for accountability's sake, for
Well,
checks and
I don't know
balances?
right now, from what the lady told me when I called her, because we haven't done this before, they just normally, the employee turns in a ticket, and if they do not turn in a ticket currently, we're having to call and track the ticket down. Where this way, she says it's gonna be listed by the card number, which I have a list of all the card numbers, and who has that card number, we can track it that way on our statement. Using those cards.
You talk briefly about this. You're buying nuts and bolts out of the county grader, but I need these nuts and bolts are all for county grader 101. Down, not just bolt nuts and bolts. I think it keeps everybody on accountability, and it's the right thing to do. Not just for the Tractor Supply.
Yeah, but they're the only ones that we're actually issuing a credit card to employees and department heads.
Understood. And they're the only ones who use it and use the limit.
Exactly, yes.
So when the statement comes back, it's John Smith, blah, 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 gotcha.
And I think we need to look at this for other,
Yes.
sir,
Do we have a limit?
It's a total limit that they have on the card, but I can actually go in and adjust those limits.
I would say for
depending
the
on.
other side,
Yeah.
like a certain amount, would have to come through a proposal approval.
Well, it would be basically like our purchasing policy,
Okay.
what an employee can do and anything like that.
And I think we need to look at this for other areas
Yes.
as well, because we might change businesses, and I think we need to, whether it's not only their signature, but as Commissioner Hopkins said, what it's pertaining to. So that, whether it's a vehicle number or a equipment piece, something like that, that we'd be able to do that. So maybe we can look into that. I'm all for this, but we
Yeah.
also need to look into other areas, so it's not just a signature and we don't know where it is.
Yes.
So I make a motion that we accept this credit card policy.
Second.
further discussion?
Who will monitor that?
I will go in the administrative once I get, once we get the statement. Because every month, normally, the administrator will get a list of all the checks I pay on the 15th and the 31st. They get a list, so that they will be able to look at it there, and at any time they can pull the invoices or bills or whatnot, and let them look at it.
How many cards?
I'm trying to think who was on that list. I think it was Audie. And I don't know exactly, but I think there was like 12 employees on the list, 12, 14 employees that were on that list. Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry.
Yes. Next item is consider approve amending section 2-3 of the county ordinance marking of county vehicles. Madam Administrator, I know you have been going through this because I myself noticed years ago that we had several vehicles that did not have any county markings on them. And apparently this is just to make sure we're all uniform. They're not all exactly the same, because I believe the rec department and the road department all have different ones, but we want to make sure they're all the same size or larger to make sure that it is visible to anybody in the county if they see one of these vehicles around. And I think that's all we're trying to do here is put a limit on, to make sure we have a proper size on these vehicles. And most of them, I think, are already done with the county logo on them, and they look real good. And I've seen several of them around, and just like that, you know, if you see a DOT truck, you know it's DOT.
Is there any reason why we don't have uniform stickers?
You talking about like
Across
road
the-
department?
Well, across the board, Wayne County, we have a logo.
Well, some of them have that, and some of them, road department, theirs is a little bit different, and I think the rec department is a little bit.
Well, some of them, they were older. We had older decals and you put on the vehicles. So instead of taking that decal off and putting the new logo on it, they just left that logo on it that had like a pine cone logo.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Well, I will tell you this, as I drive around this county and I see equipment and stuff being happen, the first thing I do is I look at that vehicle. That's the first thing I do, because I'm like, okay, is this us? What are we doing down here? What are we working on? So those decals in these are highly, highly important.
All right, so we need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the new amendment to the ordinance, 2-3.
Any more discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox.
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is to consider and approve septic tank black water dump station bids. This is for the one at Lake Grace. We had discussed it before, and we had, had the administrator put that out for bid, and I don't think we received but one bid back. Is that correct?
Yes, we received one bid in the amount of $15,150.
And we'll also have to amend the budget for that next
Yes.
month also, if it's approved. And this is the Blackwater dump station for the, all the people, they just got, did you go to the boat race?
No,
Okay. Anyway, for all the campers that are going out there and they're paying to camp out there with no amenities, and we want to make sure that we have a Blackwater dump station for them to be able to dump in before they leave there. If you're an avid camper, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want to haul a bunch of waste down the road with you, because 9 times out of 10 you wind up having to find a campground or something that will allow you to dump in there before you go home. A lot of these people come all over the state. I think some of them are even from out of state that come to these things, and they are very avid in the boat races. And that's why I felt it was necessary that we get a Blackwater dump station put in.
Chairman, I went out there on Saturday and spoke to Howie, who puts this on, and they had a great turnout Saturday out there. And he said that they had people from Indiana, Missouri, Michigan, Ohio, all over out there. It was packed, the place was pretty much packed where they were, they had a great turnout.
Well, we discussed this in detail in our work session. You know, it's a one-time event, but it's a very important event. I mean, I wanted to go out there again, and I've heard so much good things about it. And this is basically a little convenience that we're saying, hey, we appreciate y'all coming to Wayne County. You know, you listen in, you know, so, when you told me about it, when Coach Thomas talked about his son-in-law, was an advocate, has all, and I'm really nice already.
That's right.
So that's, I'll be good.
Okay, my question is, this dump station, is it something we could use for like a bigger plan to make campsites? I went out there and I thought, why in the world do we not have campsites out of this great place? So if that's a big part of a campsite, can we go, is there a place there for campsites? What else do we have to do other than just use a dump station? Or does it come out if you just use it for the, how does that work?
No, I mean, it could, I had brought up campsites before, and I told those people in that area that we would have a meeting before we decided to put any campsites in and out there. But it could also be worked in with the campsites if we needed to later on. What we had spoken with the ones that bid on it, and there'll be a lot put on it after they leave so that it's not misused. This is, this dump station will be used for those days, and they use it several times a year. They want to come back in June, but they have not been able to because of the water level out at the lake. And that's what we're trying to get the valve fixed so that they will be, they're worried about it because there are some irrigation that comes out of there, and we just want to make sure that when they do plant it, because they plant it months in advance, that they can come out there and safely, because there are a lot of stumps in the lake. But right now, we're just looking at getting this Blackwater dump station.
This is a big enough size to adequately what we need.
Yes. It went through the health department, and they came and inspected it, and they designed it so that it would adequately hold whatever they needed, at least. I think we have specs, what's gone. I can't remember how many, it fluctuates from year to year depending on the weather, the level of the lake and things like that, but it's over $2,000 a year that they bring in paying, not to mention the economic impact that they have on the county, because a lot of them stay in hotels and motels and eat at all our restaurants and things like that. And I've heard nothing but good from spec, from the rec department, the way they leave it, to how they treat people, to how they're respectful to the landowners around it and all of that.
Howie says that the boat race, they really enjoy coming to Wayne County. They like coming to Wayne County.
There's something about that lake. I don't know if it's because it's built up all the way around it, and I've talked to him and he can't explain it, but the racers like it because you don't get a lot of downdraft winds in there that affect their racing abilities. All right, so we need a motion on the Blackwater dump station.
I make a motion.
Second, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hickox?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes. Also put, did you already write that down?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, that concludes the new business. Now we have the appointments, registrar board, Anita Cahill, her term expired a while back, and she has just not been reappointed, correct? I think that's right,
Yeah.
June, yeah, yes.
I will make the motion to reappoint Anita Cahill to the registrar board.
Here's a second. Okay. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox.
Yes.
All right. Next item under appointments is, Mr. Denzel Thomas has resigned, and he sent in a letter saying that he was not gonna finish out his term, so that position needs to be, reappointed.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to appoint Mr. Bruce Wynn. Bruce Wynn.
Doug got in,
To the what?
Doug right on in.
To the what?
I second that. Good Christian man.
He's a retired military, postal worker, minister. He's a good man. I ain't saying that because he's sitting there.
Any experience with the other,
In the military. We dealt with, voted, trying to make sure everybody is certified, qualified. If you change over from one position to another or appointing to another, we go through the process. It's been a little while, but
okay,
Before we vote, I just think it's important to commend Mr. Denzel Thomas for his
Yes.
service. I ain't no spring chicken, but Mr. Thomas was gonna teach you one lesson.
he was mine. Do we know how many years he served?
I do not right off.
At least 40.
At least 40?
I'm almost positive, at least 40.
Yes, thank him very much and his family, because, you know, these appointments, people don't realize, you may not realize this yet. Your family has to do without you during certain times, and it's a big sacrifice to do these appointments. For him to do it for 40 years is just unheard of. I mean, I'm gonna miss him, because every time I go up there, I see him, and I had him in school as well, probably not the same time as you did. I did have him in school, and, you know, it's just amazing that people are that dedicated.
So do that many years in the school system and with this, you know the kids he got?
No, I do not.
Oh, can I ask a question on this also?
Yeah, we're in discussion now.
Okay, so on the registrar board, I don't know you, I'm sorry, but I know there were a lot of people that were poll workers that requested to be considered for this registrar board. Is there a reason? I saw the list. I know we gave the list out last week, or the last meeting. Miss Susan?
Okay,
Well, there was a lady from Screven who really wanted to be on this registrar board. She asked 2 years ago.
Martha
I got people
Jones.
asking.
Yeah, Ms. Jones.
Martha Jones?
One Jones, I know
Yes.
one Jones.
Martha Jones, I think she's a retired school teacher.
Yes.
Previously, when there were questions about the board of registrars, when we were doing the appointments, she actually requested that if Mr. Thomas had to step down, she would be very interested. She is an active poll worker. She works in Scriven, lives in White County, lives in Jessup. She has expressed interest.
I don't know,
And really
I'm just going from this previous, I remember, I went to the registrar's office and asked if anybody asked about these positions. And your name might be on the list, I just don't remember.
I think Greg Leggett was on there. Ms. Jones was on there. I can't remember other persons.
I know Mr. Jones personally. My brother and I were teammates, roommates. I'm trying to big brother. No big way. But also, Mr. Wynn, I know him very well. My question is, why you question my motion and nobody question yours? I mean, if that's the question you want to recommend, that's fine. So,
You like to knock me out of the chair last month to talk over me for my appointment. I'm not questioning your appointment. I'm just saying.
nobody can talk to you.
When you make your motion, when I vote, I'll vote for it. I'm just, is there a reason that this lady has been involved and wasn't considered? If you know this, if she's fine, if you've already talked to her, fine, I'll vote. Oh, she's not interested anymore, let's vote. You did talk over me, my feelings are
It's about,
So are we good? Is that who you want to speak?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any more discussion?
You know that,
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
And thank you, Mr. Thomas. I know he's not listening, but anyway, somebody, if y'all see him, tell him thank you. All right, item C on appointments, Seven Rivers RC and D, Mr. Mickey Wigington, I think he has served for 13 years, is that correct? And he has decided to come off of that. I talked to several people and I could not find anybody that was willing. We may want to table this. They have monthly meetings, isn't that correct?
I know someone, but it's not able to reach them.
Our meetings are the third Thursday of the month of April, August, and November.
Right. So they will have a meeting coming up, and we may, I would rather us do our due diligence and find somebody that's willing to go to these meetings and make sure if y'all are good with that.
Table.
Yeah, would you make a motion on that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'll second it. If y'all will look, see if you find somebody, we've been given paperwork here to show what they do.
Could we get give a high level to paper or something, to the radio station and say, hey, I'm just asking how to get this out here. Can we get like a high level of what this is about? I mean, I'll read it, but I'm still confused about what this is. I know it's about preservation, historical, all kind of stuff like that.
And we can probably give them something that they can write up if they will, a little bit about it. Y'all can read through it. See, probably the best thing to do is talk to Mickey and find out what it entails, what the job, the appointment entails, so that he can give you an accurate description of what they do in that. So we have a motion and a second. Any more comments on that? We have a motion and a second on tabling that.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry.
Yes. We'll put that on there for next month. We'll do some ranges that we can all look at. All right. Items with the county administrator. Do you have any?
Okay, on E911, I got a purchase order to present to y'all. This is the annual maintenance for the CAD, computer aided dispatch system and mapping. It is a budgeted item. It's budgeted under line item programming, software, and maintenance. The cost is $13,860. Sheriff and jail has a yearly software maintenance for mobile units, reporting system, and live scan fingerprint for jail. This is a budgeted item. The cost is $20,859.67, and it's split between the sheriff and jail under line items, programming, software, and maintenance. EMS and Richards, he left. The sales manager at Custom Truck and Body Works, where we ordered the ambulance a year ago on 3/15/2022, spoke to Ford Ambulance Manufacturers Division, and they told him they aren't many ambulance prep chassis available to build on anywhere. Custom Truck and Body Works has had 33 Fords to be canceled and 9 Dodge chassis canceled as of 3 weeks ago. They have close to 70 Fords on order now. one being ours, and the Ford manufacturer has yet to create a VIN. Upon him speaking with the Ford representative, they cannot ensure Custom Truck and Body Works that they would get any chassis this year. They told him larger companies and municipalities were at an advantage to receive chassis over small manufacturers and small municipalities that only order 1 or 2 units a year like us. Custom Truck and Body Works sales manager did say he planned for a time like this and ordered a lot of Chevrolet G Series Type 3 chassis, and he has 14 of those left. He may have to start utilizing all of these chassis if Ford doesn't start manufacturing chassis for them soon. What we are currently using is a Type 1 Ford F-150, and this is a Type 3 Chevy G4500, more like a van than a truck, like our previous ambulances. The original purchase order for a Type 1 was $170,597, which we signed on 3/15/2022. Richard is asking to purchase a Type 3 Chevy G4500 ambulance, and the price is $199,300, a difference of $28,703, and this funding is coming out of ARP money.
And those are available now?
The G4500 chassis is available. He's got 14 of those available. He said that he don't even know when he may get a Ford chassis to do the one that we ordered a year ago. So that's just, it's ARP money. If y'all want to, agree on, that one, that's what that is.
Because of availability.
Because I've got the mileage on the, M4, which is a 2016 Chevrolet, has 154,941 miles. We have a 2014 Chevrolet that has 294,258 miles. A 2013 Chevrolet has 258,261 miles. A 2015 Chevrolet has 241,076 miles. And the 2020 Dodge has 50,616 miles.
I think, can we make a motion to do that?
If you just want to do them all at one time, if y'all agree, or we can pull them out.
Yeah, I think that would be better, we can do them.
Because most of them are budget,
Was this ARP money?
it's ARP money, it's just, that's the difference in it.
I agree with the Chevrolet Type 3 right now. Yeah, we want to go, if we can't get it, this is people's lives we're taking.
Yeah.
And as far as dependability, I know you get mileage on those, so you don't think we'll have an issue with that when you talk to Kenny and him about cars maintenance and repairs and things on those. I know they have a lot of mileage, but that doesn't mean the motor hasn't been swapped out. Are they good with this, or have we?
I didn't even ask him about the G4500, because it's like a van type, so it's like a regular vehicle, I guess, instead of the big truck type.
And
that they're
Richard,
used
then
to.
we're good with
Yes.
swapping over to that?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, and then the other one is EMA and recreation. This is together, was it last Friday, Johnny Ray?
Yeah.
Last Friday, we had, WeatherStem came and spoke to us and the, school board. The sheriff was in there also. That's a weather monitoring hardware. It's powered by a web, mobile, and social media platform that brings weather safety and education to the entire community. Donnie Ray received a grant that will pay for the hub, and the cost is $8,000. In this package, we could get a WeatherStem blast for the recreation department, and this will sound off a loud alarm to alert that lightning is in an area that they can set it up like for a 10-mile radius, which is what the state recommends. It will also send out like a loud alarm for a heat alert. The cost for the blast is $7,500. The yearly maintenance after the first year is $2,000 for both units, so we will split the cost between recreation and EMA, and the recreation blocks could come out of SPLOST. If y'all approve that, and Johnny Ray, you want to talk about it any more? You got any more information?
Well, it's basically like an alert system. It's pretty nice. Like our school could even use it right now because they get one. You can set up on your phone, it alerts your phone, or the horn she's talking about is 8 train horn, and it goes off, you stop play, 30 minutes later, or however long the last flight was traveling 10 miles, and give you all cleared and you go good. Right now they're big on the heat, expect, he can tell you what day, it's about to shut down now for heat. You also have alarm you set for the temperature, and it'll go off then it's too hot to play too.
We use those at the different facilities.
Yes.
And all the managers get a tag.
Correct.
Like our people cannot go out, the lightning is so close or whatever, they're really, really handy. I know it's a no way sound, but you can live, I promise you, 10 miles from that nuclear plant, you can hear it. So
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with those.
Also, this Weatherskin guy we've been talking to over about a year now. He also has a live stream, like he'll set a camera up somewhere in the county and you can see live stream. And the public can go on this webpage and see everything they can. But like administrators, no, we go there and see live stream the whole time. It's delayed, of course, with the public, so you can't track people, whatever. But it also, that comes with, and also one of the neat things is they'll color code it to where we want like gold and black in one county.
And also it had a feature where like, if say them are traveling out of town to play ball, he can circle the area that they're going and it will even alert him to his phone in whatever area they're going to, that there's lightning or heat advisories there. So,
And the money for the grant, we've already got it.
That's the
Yes.
$8,000, the 7,500 will come from the county.
From SPOS.
And then the 2,000 yearly, what
we'll
portion?
budget for that.
What portion? Is that all of those?
1,000 for EMA and 1,000 for recreation is what that will be.
And is this just for one station or,
There's one station and one blaster.
right, and is that gonna be right there by the ball field?
The hub will be at our building, but yes, the blaster will be at the ball field.
Okay.
And the
And I
school, I
just
think
think-
they won't, excuse me, the school didn't come out doing that football field and all, but that's them. They
It would-
have to come
it
off our
would-
book.
All these costs right here would be additional if they got one, or there's no way to connect them, or?
You can connect the hubs to the blasters, but the problem with that is, let's say the hub's over here and our temperature run thing and lightning's over here, there's 5 miles that way, it'd be different. So they're looking at their own, but they did give us a price discount, like we was buying them all together already. Even if they don't buy theirs, even when they get a discount for this. And they're out of Atlanta, no, Tallahassee, I'm sorry. But he comes through here all the time, he's called, he's very, you can easily get in touch with him, we wouldn't have any issues with him.
And I did speak to our auditor about getting it approved through SPOS, and he said he didn't have any issue with that because it was actually equipment for recreation. So they consider recreation equipment, so he didn't have an issue with it coming out of SPOS. And the last item I've got is a follow-up on the Mount Pleasant Community Center. I had the recreation department go put a sign on the door in reference to the, building being rented and how to go about renting that building.
I appreciate that. I took a picture of it and showed it to you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next item is business with the county commissioners.
Do you
Commissioner
want to
Thomas.
approve all that, though? I'm sorry. Approve all that?
Yeah, I guess we can do it in a lump sum, so we're looking at, the E911, the Chevy, do I have?
Just budgeted.
Yes, that's budgeted. The Chevy, and that's under budget, correct?
The
You said
Chevy,
it was
yes.
20,000 and it cost 13? And that's
What are you talking about for the
E911.
E911? Yeah, the
Yeah.
cost for that city was $13,860. And the
Okay.
sheriff and jail is the $20,859.67 split that.
Okay.
The EMS would just be the ARP money for that, and then the recreation and EMA. We've already got the money for EMA part, for the grant, we just need the SPOS part for $7,500.
And
For
the
SPOS.
ARP, we've already approved the 170, so we're approving the additional.
28,703,
Right, okay.
yes.
Okay. I make a motion that we accept these. No, sir. Do I need to clarify that, or is, what she said?
As presented,
Yes,
okay.
yes. Not any further discussion?
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox?
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Would y'all like me to, the next time, to split them out, y'all vote on each item, or would you
No.
rather do it all together? Okay.
I appreciate this information.
If
It's
we
very-
have an issue with it, we can split it out. We can split one certain one out. If we have two or three others, we can do them all together. Thank you. Thank you for your due diligence in getting all that information together. Now, Commissioner Thomas.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just checking with the administrator on the progress of the senior citizen building.
They are actually in, I had communication with them today. They are getting ready to send me the bid documents to post on the procurement registry and our website.
Okay.
So we should be doing that soon. We were trying to get updates. I think it's gonna be in May when the bids will actually be received.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yeah, a lot of updates for District 3. The first one is, I understand that we had a special call meeting for the J.C. Lincoln. So last week, I got a call when they had the fair out there, not the fair, but the circus, the pump night. Call Amanda, we got our employees out there that got pump night. So with that said, we already had a special call meeting on it. So pretty much a lot of dialogue between, I make the motion that we put in a new well. I have the quote right here for $9,000. My understanding is there was 4 bids that was coming in. Well, one person didn't bid. The other people, one was $14,000, one was $15,000. The bid that I'm asking for us to go with is from Purvis, which is local, and they bid $9,000. This is not a want, this is a need.
We'll need to put that on the agenda to vote. I'd rather not. I know in the past, they used to put things on the agenda, spur them on, just so everybody's on the same page with it. Did we run that in the newspaper?
I
For putting it out for bid, the
No.
way we have to do it, we have to run it in the newspaper, say that we're taking bids on those to give everybody fair opportunity.
And I think we did bid, we didn't bid out, and I didn't receive any bids.
Did we put it in the newspaper though?
I believe we did.
Like I said, this quote that I've got, just because they're local, and they're highly respected, and because it is for Wayne County, I think it gives 9,000 compared to 15,000.
This is a district.
And this is District 3. Like I said, my biggest fear is we've got a fair going on right now. We talked about, how important, bringing people from other counties instead of other states, a lot of people use that. And that word goes out. Supplies over here, students, so we don't know, but, that's why I brought up the motion tonight. I don't think we need to wait on this. It's in District 3. Like I said, it's not a need, it's a want. We went through the protocol, we've got a good bid that I feel comfortable. If we explored other places,
Yeah, we did not run it in paper.
you didn't.
No,
But anyway,
I don't know who got those bids, because we did the metal roof at J.C. Hunt and the septic tank.
Here's the close, when we look at it, right, we got
Well, and I also want to make sure that the issue I have with this, I know that we were sent a text message with some information with other groups, I'm not going to say who they are right now, that were willing to pay for that well, either a portion or fully. The group that we have down there now signed a contract saying that they were going to keep up the maintenance on that area down there. They're trying, I was at the meeting, they're trying to say that that's not their portion, but if you're receiving water from it, that's part of the maintenance. They knew there was an issue with the well, and they have failed to address it at any time. I realize it's in your district, and I respect that, but I have talked to several people, and the thing that we've spent with grant money, almost $400,000 down there. We created this board, is it a board or
Authority.
this authority, so that they could take over. We spent a lot of money down there. There was $200,000 in grant money, and we spent a lot of money putting a bait store down there. We spent a lot of money on the shelter for down there because it was in disrepair. We spent money on the campground to get everything up to code so that when they took over, it was in good shape. And they have also spent over $100,000 of money that they got from somewhere. And the problem I have is, we signed a contract that they were gonna keep up the maintenance. As you said, we just got through going down there. Somebody told me, I don't remember who it was, but they said the cost that we are doing right now for maintaining that well with the chemicals, it's a community well, so it's testing. That's about $5,000 a year that we spend down there anyway, plus electric bill. They are not willing to pay for that well to be maintained. And in the contract we had with them said that they would cover the maintenance. And that's what I'm afraid of, as the taxpayers, if we don't go ahead and hold them to that contract, later on down the road, we're gonna have the same issue with something else that they're not, I mean, they've got an air conditioner that's gone out down there, are we gonna pay for that? And I don't think we can pick and choose. I think we've already picked and chose what we wanted to do by the contract we had that said that they would handle the maintenance to take care of that.
Okay, this particular, what you're talking about is they control the main area, they control the land. This actual well, I just walked in. This actual well is right over there by the by the J.C. Hunt and the fairgrounds. This water, all the fairgrounds, all the stuff that happens, like it or not, Wayne County owns that property. It's not been given to the board. Right now, we've got a well, we go out in a minute, and we've got thousands of people that are visiting over here. So the point I'm trying to make is, we've got a lot of people from out of town, there's a lot of activities that go there. I don't think the taxpayers of Wayne County thinks this is fruitful spending. When we've got the landing, not the landing, because that's the authorities over the landing. But we're over, Wayne County, my district, third district, we're over this fairground, where the well's at. So $9,000 to me, I mean, we just spent a bunch of money on other things. I don't think that's asking too much. Under the circumstances when the well is you go out and you get in it, and we got thousands of people out there visiting this week.
Well, they said it's been for 8 years they've been having problems with this. This is what they told us in the meeting. And just like the contract with Odom, that's the reason we put teeth in that contract, to make sure that they know what they're responsible for and we know what we're responsible for. And that was made very clear to them when that authority was developed. That was the reason that I voted for the authority, was to take that burden off of the taxpayers, because the contract we had before, which was made from the county, was a bad contract for the taxpayers. And that's the reason we got this contract, so that they would maintain it. Josh, is he in here? He's gone. What I understand, you're talking about $25,000 a week. I mean, 25,000 gallons of water a week that they're using.
Well, we got two big tanks. We got two big storage tanks. I walked it down myself. Both of those tanks takes all the pressure off of that tank. So we would maintain those two tanks. One used to be over there for the cattle barn, and one's over there by where the pumps at itself, which is right on the fence, right there by the J.C. Hunt. And the air conditioning you're talking about, are we talking about air conditioning down in the bait store?
Yes.
Okay, well, Wayne County don't own the bait store. We've got thousands of people coming to the bait store.
Why don't we own the thing?
Well, I mean, it's controlled by the authority. This well is on Wayne County property. It's not controlled, this well is not controlled by the authority. It's not. It's shared. It's a shared resource.
That's right. But when you are using the campground and the bait store to make money, That's the whole problem I had with this ordeal right here is you're given I've heard thousands of people say a gold mine, and you were set up to be able to fund that with the camper rentals, with the bait store, because they get money from the bait store. They showed us the numbers that they had them in
I
here.
read the contract, and everybody is required.
Yes.
The problem I'm trying to tell you is when this thing is located on the way, it's not going to be in my district. It's an issue. I think it needs to be addressed. I'm not playing who should, could, or would have paid for it. I think $9,000 is a reach for putting new road down. It's a need, it's not, I don't want to get in a battle between who's going to pay for it. I'm just telling you, I have a need in the third district for that well to be fixed. I'm afraid that we're going to have some kind of event out there that this well goes out, and we got all these people out here, no source of water.
Can I say something?
And that's where that's my only, I understand we had a real contract, I understand your side. I'm looking at my side, it's brought to me by my constituents, and it ain't in the third district, so I've got to represent people that come to me and what they tell me.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
What you don't understand, Mr. Hopkins, is when you relocate a well, when you relocate a new well because that was caved. When you relocate a well and you're selling water, then it becomes an EPD well. There's a lot of testing is involved. It's not a $9,000 well, it's $57,000. An EPD well is much more expensive.
Well, I understand the people that do these wells went out to look at the property, said it was no problem. They talked about how far they would have to go over in order to get out of the cave in. So I'm not aware of the information that you just stated.
It's on there, you can look it up.
Is that
You can see
the
that too, I
EPD
appreciate it.
permit? Is that what that's for, the EPD permit?
Yeah, you have to have permits, you have to have a ground testing, there's a lot of things that are involved. It's all, laid out for you.
If you could send that to me, I appreciate it, because I'm totally unaware, you're the first person to say anything about that. Was that brought up in the meeting? You don't have to press a special call meeting?
No, special call, just doing homework.
Understand?
But either way, we still have to do it through.
I don't agree with what you said, though. I mean, because I've got a quote here from licensed people that do this all the time. But, I'm not speaking.
We need to run that in the paper before we, to give everybody a fair chance.
You stand on just representing my constituents, they brought a concern to me, and I told them I would bring it up, and I was certain. And I said, look, all I can do is bring it up to me. And I said, I'm going to do it.
Whichever the contract, I don't remember seeing the well in the contract, we got my attorney in. I don't remember seeing that well in the agreement. So, in light of how much money the authority has spent down there, and what improvements they've made, I mean, $9,000 for a fixed well, I don't think that's anything
Okay, so they have $750,000 in the bank. And that's, I mean, they spent $100,000 down there, and they spent it on fences and other upgrades that the county did not take care of that down there. And I'm good with all of that. But you still need to make sure you can cover incidentals for when things tear up. If they didn't put the well in there, I'm sure they didn't put the air conditioner in there. So we would be responsible for that. I mean, that's why we put maintenance, so that we would not be splitting hairs with what we've got to do as far as our maintenance portion. That's the whole reason that authority was created, was to take the burden off of the taxpayers, and they would be able to get all the money, all the revenue.
For the land, not the fair.
The land has to have community water. The fairground can have a shallow
The
well
landing has had
for
for
$600.
before we had a contract, the bait shop, everybody that used that before that contract, that's how well.
Well, they had power before we had the contract. We're not paying for that.
Can I talk?
Um,
Can I talk?
Either way, Hold on, we have a motion and a second. We have discussed, if we need to discuss this further later on, but we cannot go through with the contract without putting it in the newspaper and fairly advertising.
We have our attorney here, she should be able to look at the contract and see what's relevant there or not.
Is the well part of the maintenance?
I would say yes.
Either way, we can't vote on something we have not put out. I mean, we have a motion and a second, we can vote on it, but I don't vote because we have a process we have to go through.
Can I change my motion to this go out for bids?
Yes.
That, like you talking about, the newspaper, go out for bids, especially, Mr. Mike right there was saying, had to be a certain type of bill, just have an analysis done on that, and then you'll know what we're talking about.
You talking about to get prices?
Yes.
I'm good, I don't have a problem with that, I just.
That way, that way we're not, I agree, I'm just bringing it before you because my constituents are very, very upset.
Okay, so do they need to rescind their motion, or do we need to just go ahead and vote?
Rescind the motion that you made earlier, and then motion to go out for bid for the well.
I rescind my motion, you rescind your second.
Yes.
I make another motion to go out for bids.
My second.
Now can I go?
I'm sorry. Yes, please.
I don't know what's going on with this well. But I know that I sat there 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and I listened to the tourism board give a presentation on how they wanted to work with the J.C. Langdon because tourism. And they offered to take on that whole entire area on a long-term lease. And what happened? Nothing good came out of that. Nothing. Nothing. So, I reached out to the tourism board again, and I said, are you interested? Because I'm not here to throw paper at people. I'm a businesswoman. Let's find a way to fix the issue. And if we can find a way to work together, let's capitalize on working together. So me, as the 5th District Commissioner, will jump up and down to find a way to get every board and authority that we have to work together. That's where I'm at.
That's what we got to it.
I didn't hear that. I'm not done yet. I'm done, but you just hurt my feelings so bad it just comes out.
I'm assuming from that.
So we have. What are you guys talking about? We have a motion on the floor.
Ain't talking about nothing.
To send that out for bid. We'll consider it, consideration of approval.
And my feelings are hurt,
Hey,
I'm gonna get drunk.
hey, you ain't on the agenda, brother. You ain't on
My name is Charles.
All right, Charles.
Commissioner Hickox?
No.
Commissioner Gordon?
No.
Commissioner McCrary?
No.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
All right.
Other things for the 3rd District.
Okay.
So on the 3rd District, on our fire department, volunteer fire department, we have located 3 pieces of property. 2 of the pieces of property, I've talked to the landowners, and they're agreeing to us to purchase as far as I'm going to go with them. The 3rd piece of property is the lady's supposed to get back to us. It's basically a more prime piece, so we are making some headway in this development. And Brandon, I'm sorry. We walked down the property today and did a solar light thing on it with the radar, what they're looking to see how they want to live. Just let y'all know, an update on that. We've got 2 pieces that we're looking at, so hopefully we can get the information and I'll bring it back to my fellow commissioners once I get the information for us to see. That's all.
Yeah, I'd like to, send out for bids on the, volunteer fire department buildings. The county has one, I think I have two. We need to advertise that for the bid.
And that's what we approved for ARP money, correct?
Yes.
Uh,
I mean, we have plans.
Yes, the buildings are 30 by 40. 12 by 12 roll-up door, and a 12 by 14 roll-up door. Plumbing, just for a toilet and sink drain. We wouldn't feel involved with
Is that gonna be a standard, I'm sorry, Pedro?
yeah.
Is that gonna be a standard layout like for what Commissioner Hopkins is?
That's what Richard has asked for. Allow enough room that they need a tanker to go to one side, an engine in the other. In one location, the overflow area, they're asking, the engine on one side and the rescue boat on the other side. So, it'll serve the purpose.
And Andy, we're almost done, we're almost ready for this stage, correct?
Yeah, so you signed the paperwork for one parcel tonight, the other one get done, and I think it's Mike is fine, then let's go. One day this week, we're going to office and sign the paperwork, so it's the each side, put back, property we work, so. You'll need to.
So you need a second on that?
Well, no, because it's already, I mean, we've already got it budgeted in ARP money, so no, I'll just go out for bid.
Okay. You just run the-
I'll get with Mike and, Richard, and we can, I'll type up the bid specs or whatever, and give it to them, and let them sign off on before I actually advertise it.
Okay. All right, so it'll be on that. Is that all you have?
Yes.
And I'm not, we're an hour and 50 minutes into this, I'm not gonna say anything. And, so we need to, I make a motion that we leave and go to executive session. I say.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
think you need to specify what the reasons are.
Personnel, pending litigation, and sales of real estate. You didn't get a copy of the
Yeah, I
agenda?
think you're actually supposed to make that in your motion.
Okay.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox.